Hello everyone, how's it going? Billy Ballgame here, back with another video. On this channel, I'm just a dude that loves to talk about baseball cards. And in today's video, I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to show you some cards also. But before I do that, I'd like to make a couple admin notes. If you could, please go check out my buddy Justin's channel at Go Crazy Collecting Cards. He just posted, sorry, I did it again. Go Crazy Card Collecting. That's why I'm shouting him out again, because I realized that when I shouted it out on the last video, I screwed his name up. So please go check out Justin from Go Crazy Card Collecting. I always want to say that backwards. But anyway, he's a great dude. He's passionate about baseball cards. He's passionate about vintage baseball cards. As a matter of fact, last night we spent an hour or two probably texting each other back on Facebook, messaging each other, sending each other pictures of our collection. And then today when he got home from church, he texted me again and we were talking about cards again for probably an hour or two. And that is what he's in this community for, is to build relationships. And I love it, because I can talk baseball cards like nonstop. So if you haven't already, please go check out Justin's channel. He just released his second video yesterday. He's at 20 subscribers, so his channel's doing really well. I don't even know how long it took me to get 20 subscribers. But let's bump him up some more. So if you haven't gone over there already, please do so. And then one more admin note. Please go check out my buddy Darren at Return to Collecting's channel. If you're not already subscribed to Darren, please go over there and do so. He's an amazing dude and has an insane collection. And he's one of the most humble, down-to-earth dudes that you will ever meet. Like, he's got some amazing cards in his collection, but anytime he shows them on his videos or talks about them, it's never from a showing off, a braggadocious type of way. He's just a humble dude that has an amazing collection and loves cards like the rest of us. He's so close to 1,000 subscribers, it's not even funny. He's at 993 last I checked. So please, if you haven't already, please go over to Darren at Return to Collecting's channel and subscribe to him. All right, so on to the purpose of today's video. I just wanted to give a shout out to those two amazing dudes and see if I could help their channels at all. So any help you can give them is greatly appreciated. But so on to today's video. I don't know if you're all tired of hearing and seeing talk about the National or seeing videos on the National, but man, I'll tell you what, I'm definitely not tired of it. So today's video, I'm going to talk about the National. And I'm going to talk about what cards that I'm going to bring with me to the National as kind of trade bait in case I need a little extra money to, you know, finalize a deal. Because I have a certain amount of money that I'm bringing with me to the National. As most of you know that have followed the channel, that's going to be in the $2,200 to $2,400 ballpark, depending on meals and hotel and all that stuff. And I cannot go over that amount. Like, if I pull out my debit card at the National, once I get back, like, I might have to go have a sleepover at my buddy Chris from Missouri's house, because my wife wouldn't be very happy. And that's an exaggeration, but I cannot go over budget. So I figured that I would bring a few cards with me that could maybe, again, help finalize a deal. So I wanted to show those to you today. And none of these are high value cards. They're just cards that I had in my collection that, one, I've either upgraded already, plan on upgrading in the future, or they are duplicates. So these are the categories that the cards I'm going to show you fall into. And again, they're cool cards, but well, why don't I just quit yapping and show you? So the first one I'm going to bring is an Ozzie Smith rookie. This is in a BVG 6.5. I have a PSA 7 that I bought recently from my buddy Tom, who will also be going with us to the National. And so, again, this is a duplicate. It doesn't have a lot of value, but it's a card that I figured I would bring with me just in case, I needed an extra $50 somewhere in that ballpark in value toward a deal. But this is one of the first cards that I bought from my buddy Chris from Missouri. Really before we became friends, down at a Jeff City show, I bought this and a 68 Topps Hank Aaron in a PSA 4 that I also traded on another deal. But don't worry, I've bought plenty of other cards from Chris. I'm not just buying all of his cards and then trading them away. But I figured this would be a good card to bring with me just because I already have one in a PSA 7. Another duplicate, 89 Pro Set, Barry Sanders. Some of you have been following the channel for a while know that a few years ago I bought 5 sets of 89 Pro Set football for $5 a piece. And I pulled out a bunch of cards that I want to get graded, and I still have a lot that I do want to grade. This was, at the time, what I thought was the best Barry Sanders out of those sets. I sent it off to SGC, and it came back a 9.5. Well, last summer, I sent another one off that graded as a 10. So again, this is another card that's a duplicate in my collection. I figure really it's only got about $30 worth of value, but again, the value adds up if I can find the right dealer that wants to include these in with a partial trade on a cash deal or something along those lines. This one is a card that I plan on upgrading. So this is, as you can see, the 82 Topps Traded. Let me get the camera, some of the glare off of the camera there. 82 Topps Traded Cal Ripken Jr. This is one of the biggest rookie cards and one of my favorite rookie cards from the 80s. This is in a PSA 6. And this is a candidate to upgrade. So once I get further along in my collection with the rookie cards and make my way into the 80s, this is a card I would like to have in an 8, maybe a 9. That's just a little bit better centered and has better overall eye appeal. And this card, its current VCP average price right now is about $120. So I figure right now with these 3 cards, VCP average value, I have about $200 out of those 3. But then I pulled a few more that I'm going to bring with me. And again, I'm not going to be actively looking to trade all these cards, but if I need to get a deal done, then maybe I'll go down that road. Sorry, my camera's doing that thing where it gets dark again. I didn't mean to turn my light off. Sorry about that. Again, Hollywood level production on this channel. So I have 3 more pulled out that are, more classic vintage. So here's the 60 Al Kaline that you've all heard me talk about on my channel. This was a BVG crack out, I think a 5 or a 5.5, and it has a tiny crease up there in his hat, and it's really even hard to see. Which is what knocked this down to a 3.5. Again, I think this is a great card, but now that I know it's got a crease in it, maybe this is where my grading snobness comes in. But now that I know there's a crease in it, it bugs me. So this is a card that hopefully once I get back from the National and pay myself back for all the money that I owe Tom from all the cards I bought from him, hopefully this is a card that I can upgrade into a nice eye appeal 5 or 6, and it'll be relatively inexpensive. And this right now has about $30 average VCP value. So that's about $230 roughly right now. And then next is the 60 Topps Willie Mays. Again, this is a card, I'm a big fan of it. I bought this ungraded at one of the first shows I went to in Columbia when we moved back to Missouri. I bought it ungraded, sent it into SGC. It got a 3.5. This is really one of the cards that spurred my interest in wanting to collect the whole 1960 Topps set. This one, I don't know, 120, somewhere around there, I think. And again, I won't be actively looking to trade these cards because I love this card and it would hurt my feelings to to move it. But I would be willing to if it helped complete the right kind of deal. So I just think that's a really sharp version of a 3.5. It's off center, left to right, but I like it. It's a clean card. I think it was the first Willie Mays card that I had ever bought. So that's going to take me up to around $330, $350, somewhere around there. And then I also have another card that I bought raw at an early show once we moved back to Missouri. 64 Topps Hank Aaron. And I bought it raw. I think I paid $30 or $40 for it. Sent it into grade. It got an SGC4, as you can see. This one is just a card that I would like to upgrade. Now, I'm not working on a 64 set, but this is a great card, and I would just like a little bit better version that has better eye appeal to me. But this currently has an average VCP value of about $80. So that's going to give me, you know, close to about $400 or so worth of cards to bring with me to the National in case I need it. And, you know, I have more that I could bring, but I'm going to be wearing a little fanny pack, and I didn't want to have it shoved full of baseball cards and be cracking the slabs and have them rattle around in there and all that stuff. So I just thought that these were kind of some easy cards in my collection that I could upgrade or replace if I were able to trade them, or if I needed to trade them at the National. So let me know what you think about those cards. Let me know if you think those are cards dealers will be interested in. So again, just curious, just had them, thought I would grab them and bring them with me just in case I need to. So, but some of them I think are pretty good cards that hopefully if I needed to, a dealer would want. Like I understand maybe with the Ozzie Smith, if a dealer isn't willing to buy it because it's in a BVG slab and maybe it will be hard for them to move because most people want PSA and SGC slabs, me being one of them. So maybe a dealer isn't interested in this one. Maybe the Cal Ripken, if it's a high-end dealer, maybe he doesn't want a 6. Maybe he doesn't want to have to sell a 6. And really, to me, like a card from 1982 in a 6, it's crazy that this card's average VCP value right now is $120. So it's a lot of money for a 6 in my opinion. So maybe maybe if it were a higher graded one, maybe a dealer would be more likely to pull the trigger on a partial trade with this involved. But I don't know. We'll see. I think maybe out of the other 3, the K line will probably be the most difficult one to move, even though it's really sharp for a 3.5. And I'm not. You may think I'm insane for wanting to move 2 cards out of the 1960 set when it's what I'm currently working on. But I could upgrade them into 5s and 6s that are going to suit my eye appeal. The Al Kaline, again, is pretty cheap. Now, the Willie Mays is probably going to cost about $200 or $300. But it's a card I wanted to upgrade at some point anyway. Why does my camera keep doing that? Mind-boggling. Yeah, so just kind of my thoughts on some cards I was going to bring with me to the National and why. And just wanted to get your thoughts on that. So, again, it's going to be a busy schedule at the National. We're leaving here Wednesday morning at some point. It's up in the air on whether or not we're going to go to the Larry Bird Museum in Indiana on the way to the National or on the way back. But either way, we'll be at the National, should be all day Thursday, and we're going to Mike Moynihan, Baseball Collector's YouTube meet and greet Thursday night. Then Friday we'll be on the floor. And then Friday night, there's another kind of smaller YouTube gathering that one of the dealers at the National are putting together. And we're going to that as well. So I'm super excited. I think I'm almost as excited, or maybe more excited, to go and hang out with a bunch of my YouTube buddies that I haven't met in person than I am hunting cards on the floor of the National. Like, this is me being excited. It's going to be a great time. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I think the plan is that we're going to roll out about noon on Saturday. Now, again, most of you know this is my first real National, because if I was at a National in high school, I don't really think it counts because I probably had 10 or 20 bucks. But this is the first real National, like as an adult with money, that I'm going to, and I'm super excited. I know I'm going to be overwhelmed as soon as I walk in. And this could go two different ways, being as we're going to be there Thursday, Friday, and part of Saturday. I could spend all my money within the first hour, maybe even 5 minutes, if I hit the right table, of being at the National, and then I'm done for the next however many days, whatever time that is, right? And then the rest of the time, like, I'll be a cheerleader. I'll cheer on my buddy Chris from Missouri. He's got an amazing list of cards that he wants to pick up. My buddy Tom and our buddy Coop. Like, I'll just walk around with them and cheer them on the rest of the time we're at the show. Or I could be scrambling Saturday trying to find cards that I want to buy and end up coming home with a whole bunch of money. But either way, it's still going to be a great time, and I'll still be a cheerleader cheering on my buddies while they're shopping for cards. And if I do come home with a bunch of money, which I don't see happening, but if I do come home with a whole bunch of money, then that just means that I'm further ahead on the next card that I'm saving up for. So either way, once I get past that initial bewilderment of, oh my God, how huge is this show and how am I going to be able to cover everything? Once I get over that, from there on, it's gravy, because it'll be either I'll spend all my money in 5 minutes and cheer my buddies on for 2.5 days, or I'll cheer my buddies on for 2.5 days and then see if I'm going to spend my money or if I'm going to come home with a bunch. But I think with my list, which I'm not ready to show you all yet, I think I probably won't have a problem spending my money, because I'm going to have probably 10 or 12 what I would consider bigger cards on my list. And then I'm going to have probably another 10 or so of smaller cards that are kind of like, hey, I have $300 left in my pocket. Let me pick this card up. I'm going to have a few of those too. So I'm actually probably going to start working on my list this week and pulling comps on different grades, kind of the range and stuff like that. But again, I don't get completely hung up on comps, and those that go by the comps, like, you collect how you want to collect. No problem with how people want to handle transactions and what they want to base it off of. For me, I want to be in the ballpark of the comps, but depending on the eye appeal of the card, I will pay up or down, in my opinion, based off of what I feel is the eye appeal in that card for the grade. So I don't get completely wrapped up in comps. Like, so again, one of the cards that's been on my list for months is the 59 Topps Bob Gibson. Let's say, because I don't remember the number off the top of my head, if there's an SGC 5, let's say the VCP average price is $750. And it's a really sharp SGC 5, I might pay $800. I might pay $825. I might pay $850 for that card if the eye appeal is high enough to where I'm like, man, that's a beauty and you need to take that home. So for me, that's why I need a little bit more leeway within my budget, because if I find the right card, then I'll probably pay up for it. But as you all know, the 4 cards that I've put out there into the ether that I'm looking for is a 48 Bowman Stan Musial, a 33 Goudey Rogers Hornsby, the one where he's fielding, a 59 Topps Bob Gibson, and a 68 Topps Nolan Ryan. Now, even with all of those cards on my list, I wouldn't be able to buy all of them with my budget. I think probably the best I would be able to hope for would be 3 of the 4. So with this 10 or 12 card list that I'm going to bring with me, like, there's no way I'll be able to afford all 10 or 12 of them. I would probably need $10,000 or $15,000 to do that, and I definitely don't have that. So what I want to do is just buy the best cards on that list that meet budget and eye appeal, and then those are going to be the ones that I can find, or those are going to be the ones that I end up bringing home with me. And really, it could be any combination of 2 or 3, maybe, well, probably 2 or 3, depending on what cards. There are a few cards that are going to end up on this list that if I buy those, I'll be coming back from the National with 1 card, and I'll be fine with that, because to me, they're huge cards that I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd ever be able to afford. So either way, I'm looking at the National as a win-win. I can't wait. I'm super excited. And again, I hope to meet a bunch of y'all there. And as a matter of fact, if you're still watching me ramble on, if you would, leave it in the comments below whether or not you're planning on going to the National, especially if you don't have a YouTube channel. So a lot of the guys that watch my channel that have a YouTube channel, like, we're in communication and I have a pretty good idea of who's going and who's not. But if you're a subscriber that watched the channel and you're not an air quotes content creator, let me know in the comments if you're going to the National or not, because again, I'd be happy to meet as many of you there as I can. If time permits, like, I'll walk around on the floor and look at cards with you, and I can talk about cards all day. I may not be able to do that just because of the time aspect of things, of being there for 2.5 hours and the National being so big. But I'd be happy to know which ones of you are going to the National, and I'm excited. I hope you're as excited as I am. Like Chris's video this morning, my buddy Chris from Missouri, I identify exactly with what he's talking about. Going fishing, you're getting up early in the morning, you have no idea if you're going to catch a monster, so you get excited and then you have a hard time sleeping. I've had the same thing happen nights before I'm going to go hunting. Heck, even coaching. I've had those nights. The night before a big game, like, you get anxious, right? And that's how I am now. So I completely understand what Chris is talking about from his video today about closing his eyes and seeing the bobber go under. I've been there. So I hope you all are as excited as I am to go to the National, and it's going to be a great time. I can't wait. I can't wait to get back and show you the amazing cards that I pick up, because the cards that I have on my list, even the most inexpensive cards, like a 33 Goudey Rogers Hornsby, that's not a super expensive card, but that's a card that I, as a kid, never dreamed that I would actually be able to afford to go out and buy one. And that's one of the cheaper cards on the list. So some of these cards are big cards for me. So I'm excited to get there and get going and then get back and show you what treasures I found at the National. So I hope that I'm not beating you guys over the head and driving you nuts on the National. I really hope not. But again, I'm just so excited about it. Like, it's a difficult time for me to not talk about it. So I hope you all understand that. But I've been rambling for 25 minutes, so I'll go ahead and wrap it up at that. But again, thank you as always for your support. I can't even begin to tell you how much that means to me. If you're still with me and you're not already subscribed, please do so. Give this video a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. Until the next one, I hope everybody has a good one, and I'll talk to you later.